Graham, welcome to Coleraine Football Club. How does it feel to have signed?
Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. Finally get everything sorted and just can't wait to get started now.
You look delighted.
Aye. Obviously there's 4 or 5 lads here who I've played with before now, so I've had lads on to me over the past few weeks saying, "Are you coming?" No, but it makes things a lot easier coming into a dressing room where you have some familiar faces. I think just like to see myself as an out-and-out defender. First and all, love to defend, win my battles, and then get the ball down and play when you get the chance to.
I think it's very, very hard, and we've talked about it before, where because we're playing every Saturday, it's very, very hard to go and watch other teams and other players, and I suppose we've other tools out there now which allow us a bit of video footage and allow us to gain information on players. But a big part of it is generally when you play against that player, you know, how they conduct themselves post game, during the game, and also just their general demeanour of how they go about their business. And Graham was always one of those ones when you shook hands after a game where, I don't know, you just had that, I always had that feeling from even 2 or 3 years ago. I liked him, I liked the way he conducted himself, and more importantly, I liked the way his attitude and his qualities that he had on the pitch. And I just think he'll bring a huge amount, both on and off the pitch, to the changing room. And I just think the standards of how he goes about his business are everything that we're about.
Grew up obviously playing football in Dublin. I was probably started off when I was 4 or 5 years old, just playing for a local team. Didn't really take it too serious, and then when I got to about 13, 14, that's probably when things started to get maybe a bit more serious. I signed for St Kevin's in Dublin, which was a club outside my area, a bigger club, and those 2 years maybe at Kevin's before I went over to England, when football kind of became a bit more serious for me and knew kind of was what I wanted to do. Tough at first, obviously. I think for anyone leaving home at 16 it's tough, but I don't think I could have went to a better club. I've only positive memories from the time there, going over at 16 to spending, I think it was 4 or 5 years there, so I've only good memories.
You know, in my view, we're 20-25 goals of a swing behind where we want to be, and there's different ways to skin that. It could be 25 goals in the plus column, or concede 25 less goals. I think both of those are quite hard to do, so if we meet somewhere down the middle and could score 13 more goals and concede 12 less goals, well then we're in around the mix and in around where we want to be. And you know, Graham, and I think one of his best qualities, and I think you look for it in every defender, is his 1v1 defending, both early and on the ground. He's really, really strong in both dimensions. And for me, when you bring in somebody who prides himself on their 1v1 defending, prides himself in the inability to give opportunities to the quality strikers that there are in the league, you know, you're hoping that can make a massive dent into those 12 goals against.
The first time I spoke to Oran, that was a big factor. Speaking to Oran, from what he had to say, his plans for me, the plans for the club moving forward, the direction that the club's going in, and then obviously I've 4 or 5 lads, as I said, that I've played with before who I know have been here, some of them longer than others, and I think anyone I spoke to just had positive things to say about the club. And you see yourself when you come up here, played up here many times, and it's a good place to play. Like, you see the crowds that they get in, everything.
And as you said, like you've played with a number of the players who are in the change room. If you get any juicy gossip, anything that you could tell us that we could slag them off about, or any of the lads, any weird stuff going on that we need
weird
to know
stuff,
about?
I'm trying to think. Well, there's plenty you can get onto Lee Lynch about, I know that for sure, anyway, with his OCD.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think I'm at the stage now where I needed a fresh challenge, and I want to get back playing regularly, and hopefully we can do that at Coleraine, and we can go on to do the things we want to do, or getting into Europe, winning trophies. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Graham, you know, I think I speak on behalf of all the fans and football club, welcome you to Coleraine Football Club, and hope you have all the success you deserve.
Thanks very much.